I can't believe that I'm actually about to do a video like this, but I have to anyway because I feel like it would be right if I did. Now, yesterday I uploaded a video talking about Jeffrey Owens and his situation that he was going through and how he went viral because a picture was taken of him working at Trader Joe's, and Fox News and a lot of other outlets got a hold of it and pretty much made fun of this black man working to provide for his family. Now you got to remember, Jeffrey Owens worked on the Cosby Show as Elvin Thibodeau, Sandra's husband, from 1985 to 1992. Of course, like the rest of the cast, he was collecting royalties, and he was a credited cast member. And when the Cosby Show ended its run and it went into syndication, it was everywhere. Like, it wasn't any channel you can go to and you didn't see the Cosby Show on it. Of course, it most likely reran on NBC because of, that's where the show actually started and ended. And it was being reran for a while up until what happened with Bill Cosby when they pulled the show from the airwaves. And, when they pull it down like that, there's no more residual checks to be received. And now a Cosby Show is currently being re-aired and reruns on TV One. But that's just on one network compared to the other networks that it was being reran on, previously. So it's like the more times it's reran on other channels, the more checks residually the cast members will receive. And he wasn't the only one that was facing a financial because of this, because Malcolm Jamal Warner talked about it as well briefly. But of course, Malcolm Jamal Warner had more popularity too, so that actually worked to his advantage. But anyway, Tyler Perry has since then reached out to Jeffrey Owens saying that, hey, I want to work with you on this particular show that I'm working on right now on the OWN network. And I think I know what show it is. So I was like, you know what? I can't even be mad at Tyler Perry for that. A lot of people may be upset with Tyler Perry with some of the film choices that he decides to do, especially when it comes to the Madea character and some of the storylines that he does. But I can't knock Tyler Perry for the simple fact that this is a guy who started out doing plays. He was a playwright, for those of you who don't know. At this point, I think everybody should know. Then he transitioned into doing movies. And then he started doing television shows. And I have to give Tyler Perry this credit, too, because he was going to shop a couple of his shows to various networks, but they weren't going to allow him to have creative control over them. So he ended up leaving and went elsewhere. And then that's when he put that show House of Pain onto the TBS network, where it stayed for a few seasons. And as a matter of fact, I think that show brought that network quite a bit of ratings. And then that's when he brought the show Meet the Browns on there as well, and it brought it even more ratings. See, a lot of people sleep on the fact that a lot of these black television shows, whether they're drama series or a sitcom, bring ratings, and they do. And it's been proven. But then, the contract ended with TBS, and then the House of Pain got canceled, Meet the Browns got canceled, and then that's when he went over to the OWN network with Oprah Winfrey, and he actually helped revive her network with the shows he bought on over there. He ended up bringing about a good 4 shows over there. One of them got canceled, I think, last year, and there's 3 of them that are left. So Tyler Perry is definitely doing this thing, and he has his own studio. I remember a couple years ago, I went to Atlanta, and I went down there and I actually saw his studio. I didn't go to the premises because it was gated and I think it was closed that day, and I couldn't get onto the property. But I did see the sign that said Tyler Perry Studios right there on the sign, and that's a huge lot. But that was then. He has since then moved to another studio that's owned by him because he had to expand. And a little fun fact, a couple of the scenes from Black Panther were filmed at Tyler Perry's new studio before he even shot anything on his own new lot. He actually opened his doors to Ryan Coogler and those at Marvel to shoot some scenes from Black Panther at his studios. If you actually look at the credits for Black Panther, you'll see Tyler Perry Studios in the credits. Some people probably didn't catch that. I caught it. I actually knew about it before the movie came out. And I'm trying to think, did I speak on that or not? I can't remember. But that's dope of him to actually allow them to shoot that movie there before he shot something there on his own lot. Because at the end of the day, Tyler Perry's a businessman. He knows he's going to get royalties from that. So now he's getting a Marvel check every time Black Panther is on. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Black Panther might be on Netflix now. I'm not sure. And Black Panther is probably one of the biggest movies that have come out this year. But Tyler Perry reached out to Jeffrey Owens and offered him an acting gig. And I cannot even be mad at Tyler Perry for that. And I hope that Jeffrey Owens takes him up on the offer. And I actually looked at the clip, and I think Jeffrey Owens said he didn't want to feel like he was a charity case, that people was feeling bad for him because of the stuff that came out. I understand that he's being noble. However, I would take that, especially if acting is what I love to do. And I can tell acting is what he loves to do. It's like I could tell he probably did not want to do this Trader Joe's thing, but he had to do it because he had to provide for his family, as a man should. So I can't knock him for doing that. That's why a lot of people were very upset when Fox News and a lot of these other places and publications did what they did. They tried to shame this black man for providing for his family. And that's really upsetting. It's really upsetting, but it's also very disrespectful to a black man at the core. Because it's basically saying that even as a working class black man, I'm still not good enough. And when I try to provide for my family, you know what that does to the psyche of someone who may be what if his kids saw that? They like, if his kids were sitting and they were easily encourageable, they would look at their dad in utter disgust. Like, you could have had it all. You were on the Cosby Show. Like, what are you doing down here working with these individuals? You should be better than them. It does something to the psyche. Like I said, you can once you get into somebody's mental capacity, that's it. It'll take a long time before you can get out of their head. That's why I always said that mental slavery was one of the worst forms of slavery, and then physical slavery was next, because physical slavery, that was just pain. Mental, once they get inside your mental psyche, then that's it. That's why, unfortunately, many black people are in the position they are in today. But this was just one part of what I wanted to talk about Tyler Perry. I just wanted to bring this up in a separate video because I didn't have the chance to do it in the original video about Jeffrey Owens, because that video had already been recorded. But there was something else that Tyler Perry did that actually made me have to give kudos to him. And unfortunately, the news is not covering it the way that they should. So I'm going to pause it right quick and pull it up. These two individuals right here by the name of Terrence Williams and Felipe Santos. Now, this is why I have to give kudos to Tyler Perry, and in this particular case also Benjamin Crump, because this is a case that happened in Florida nearly 15 years ago, and Tyler Perry has no connection to this case whatsoever. He doesn't really know the family. He just probably learned about the case. I'm not going to say that he's completely oblivious to it, because that would be wrong of me to say. He could. But he's doing something that I didn't expect out of him. So basically what happened is these two individuals back in 2003 and 2004, around that time, went missing. And the case went and became cold. And they truly believed that a sheriff, let me see if I'm reading this correctly, a former sheriff's deputy is responsible for these two men going missing. Now, they're probably most likely deceased. I'm not sure. But Tyler Perry and Benjamin Crump said that they are going to file a wrongful death lawsuit against that sheriff's deputy for their disappearance, because it's like they just didn't handle the case the way that it should have been. And I guess this is the thing, you get tired of cases such as these where they just go cold and you forget about them. Now, if this was a white person, they would have went to the ends of the earth to find them. Let's not forget what happened back in 2005 with Natalee Holloway, when she went missing on her class trip, when they went to, I forgot what it was, I want to say it was Belize or Barbados. It was one of the islands. It was one of the a foreign exotic place, and she went missing. They spent the entire summer looking for her. From the time she went missing, and then they kept on going and going and going until they ended up finding her remains and finding the person who did it. They spent the entire summer talking about her. And if you want to take it further back, let's go back to Chandra Levy. Back, I think it was in 2001, 2, somewhere around that time, when she went missing, and they kept talking about her over and over again. Even though I truly believe that politician that he was having an affair with her, I truly believe he was directly responsible for why she went missing, because she probably was about to say something and he had to get rid of her. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to people who look like us go missing, they don't spend that much time talking about trying to find them. They drag their feet and think that we're supposed to just be okay with that. But I'm glad that Tyler Perry said, you know what? I want to help bring some closure to this family that I probably hardly even know, but this case really hurt me to the core. And I'm going to do something. Because these cases cost money. And Tyler Perry probably saw that this family was probably a typical family, and they probably didn't have that much money. And that's why a lot of these cases go cold, because the families run out of money to help these cases keep going along. Like, I remember when I had a identity theft case, maybe a few months after I had graduated college, someone had got a hold of my card number for a credit card that I only use as an emergency that I've never used. And this person ran up my damn credit on a cell phone bill. And the reason why I knew it couldn't have come from me was because of two things. One, this person was all the way in North Carolina. At the time, if they started doing this when I was in school, I was in South Carolina. And if they did it after I graduated, I was back home in Maryland. The second part that let me know that it wasn't me was because of the carrier. This person was using a phone from AT&T, and I have Verizon. They eventually had to do an investigation, and of course, but I had to pay some money to get the investigation done. This person almost ran up over damn near $1,000 on unnecessary stuff concerning a cell phone. That actually almost happened to me recently. A couple months ago. They didn't get my card number, but they got access to my Verizon account and put 3 iPhones on that account. Neither one belonged to me, but I know it had to be someone local because of the area code. And I'm like, that could not be me, because I'm not a fan of iPhone and I only have one to my name. They cleared all of that up, and what ended up happening is, because of that, for about good 3 months, my bill was very low. Like, I'm talking about below 100 for like a good 3 months. Basically, to clear all of that up. Like, I almost had to go down to the police department to file a police report until the person called me and we was able to handle it over the phone, because I didn't feel like having to go file a police report and all of that. Like, that would have been stressful enough. But anyway, that was just my little story right there. But yeah, kudos again to Tyler Perry, for doing something like this. Like I said, you may not be a fan of his movies and his film, but it's like what he's doing behind the scenes or off screen or off set is to be commended. And this isn't the first time he's done something like this. Some people, shockingly, are just now being aware of how, in some ways, good of a person he is. Because this is a guy who came from nothing. He grew up poor and struggling. He was a starving artist. So he's just paying it forward. And to me, what he's doing with the case, with this case here, and with Jeffrey Owens, that to me is called being on code. That's probably why some of the elites don't like Tyler Perry now. And to be quite honest, if it wasn't for Tyler Perry, he would not have brought Hollyweird to Atlanta. Who was thinking of Atlanta as far as a huge filming place until Tyler Perry got there? When Tyler Perry got there and he started, filming shows and movies there and opened up a studio, everyone started to flock. There's a studio in Atlanta called Pinewood Studios. That is where all the Marvel movies are filmed. Black Panther, Captain America, The Avengers, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor, all of them are shot at that studio. And the reason why they have a studio out in Atlanta is because of two reasons. Tyler Perry helped it blow up the Atlanta scene, and two, it's cheaper to shoot a film in Atlanta, Georgia, rather than California. It's cheaper. You get more bang for your buck, as the old folks used to say. That's really all I have to say as of right now as it pertains to this story, and I just wanted to give you some more backstory and everything like that. I hope y'all enjoyed this commentary. Like, comment, share, I'm about to say subscribe. The links for the shirts will be down below, as well as all the information for ordering. And I will talk to you in the next one.